Hello, internet world and people, and the web explorers. If you're watching this, you've stumbled upon my very first episode, upload, whatever, of a new program. I think I'm going to call Keep It on Wax. Wax as in vinyl wax. Wax as in records. I got a decent collection. I have a lot of feelings and passion and love for this stuff. I listen to my records plenty. I might spend a couple a day at least. But when you have a huge record collection, a lot of the time they just they sit there, they collect dust. It makes me sad, and I think that they deserve and are worth so much more than that. So I made this show to just share and talk about and maybe cultivate some conversation and some community, and maybe introduce some people to some new albums or artists or songs that that somebody can connect with and wants to listen to. So if I could be a part of that, for you it would be an honor. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the artists, or I'm not talking biographies or nothing. I'm talking just a show about records. And so without further ado, I just, for my first, fuck it, let's just do this shit, let's get it done. I have Minnesota's very own, the Twin Cities proud little dudes, Minnesota's very own hometown heroes, we could say. We're talking The Replacements and their fourth studio record, Tim. The Replacements. Tim. Looking at Bob Stinson's eyes. Whoa. This is the fourth studio record from the Minneapolis-based band, The Replacements, consisting of brothers Bob and Tommy Stinson, who play guitar and bass respectively, singer-songwriter, rhythm guitarist Paul Westerberg, and drummer Chris Mars. This was recorded at Nicollet Studios in their very own Minneapolis, and it was produced by a little-known dude named Tommy Irdelli. I think I'm saying that right. Who is better known by his alter ego, Tommy Ramone, which is just enough said about him. But I love this record. I have a very personal relationship, very personal attachment to it. I had known, who doesn't know Unsatisfied? I mean, if you don't know Unsatisfied, stop this video right now. Go listen to Unsatisfied by The Replacements off Let It Be. And just, it's a beautiful song. It's a perfect song. It's one of those songs where it's like, I don't know how you'd say it. It's like a group's theme song. It's just the perfect. It defines everything about the band and what makes them so special, and puts it all into one song. And no surprise, they hate it. The creep, Radiohead effect. But I had not been any more familiar with any more of The Replacements' work besides Unsatisfied. And then, cooking some pasta, listening to a Spotify radio, I think it was Dinosaur Jr. or something like that. It plays Swingin' Party, which is, I think, track 6. Yeah. Oh shit, check me out. And holy shit, just mind blown, exploded. I'm saying, what is this? Who is this? Where is it? Where can I get more? I need more now. And it also played Bastards of Young on the same radio, which is just like, holy shit, like, what is this? I listened to it, at work the next day, and just what a beautiful giant world it opened up that I still am just feel so happy to live in and to know and be familiar with, because my God, The Replacements world is a big, beautiful, crazy one. So I mean, I loved this record, and so then I was so shocked. It's a little windy outside. It's nighttime, and I also have a broken water main that they're fixing outside. I was very shocked to learn that this record was very divisive amongst the fans when it came out. Very controversial, you could say. It's just a little more. You can't put the Replacements in a box, which is my whole problem with all the criticism around this, is that the Replacements are a genre-less band. They exist outside the borders or boxes or confines of anything or conventional that tells them what they should be playing. Even if that's their own fans. The fans don't... The Replacements don't care about what the fans have to say. The fans want to hear this from the Replacements. The Replacements will play the exact opposite of that just to show that they can, and that's just the kind of people that they were. You can read Trouble Boys by Bob Mayer if you want to learn all about these guys, and I can't recommend that book enough. I just finished it a couple weeks ago, and it's perfect. It's brilliant. It's a beautiful book, especially as a fan, to get some of this background that I will not be telling you because I don't have a million hours to explain the entire history of this band to you. But this record marks a certain, let's say, turning point for the band. It's a transitional record. It's awkward. So it's an awkward record because it's like the puberty of the adolescence. It's like the puberty of the Replacements' career. This is mostly due to the absence of the formerly mentioned Bob Stinson, who is the lead guitarist. He formed the band in the first place with his little brother Tommy, the bassist formerly mentioned, who was 11 years old when he threw a bass in his hands and started saying, all right, we're gonna be Dog Breath and we're gonna be in a fucking band and you're gonna play the bass. And Tommy really there was nothing he could say. He was going to, whether he wanted to or not. Paul Westerberg joins the band much later with Chris Mars is already drumming. He joins a already formed band and takes it over, basically. Which, of course, when it comes to these things, is a sort of slow burn of tension that just it comes to a head when it comes to the recording of Tim. Singer-songwriter, formerly mentioned, Paul Westerberg. He was writing softer songs, okay? Go back to any of the Replacements' other records. There's punk in there, there's hardcore, there's hootenanny, which is undescribable. Every song is something different. There is a straight up, like 80s romantic comedy, like with the drum machine, like going on. It's everything, but it's so perfect. And it's what I love about these guys. Can't put them in a box. With Tim, I think Bob Stinson felt like he was being put in a box because the songs that Paul was writing did not have room or the space for these. Bob Stinson came from a prog rock background, a love of bands like Yes, and just like, which is just, I mean, forgive me, I don't want to offend anybody. These are just my opinions, and I'm nobody, but prog music can be kind of obnoxious. It's very complicated, man. And that's what it's part of the Replacements' juice. It's part of the Replacements' juice is on top of the extremely talented songwriting, the iconic vocals, the very intricate bass work, from a bass prodigy, because that's what happens when you force a child to learn an instrument at such a young age, is fused with this lead solo work that's just bonkers. And it's just like listen to it. Try to play, there is one Rock Band song, the game Rock Band, Kids Won't Follow is the only Replacement song you can play. Try to play that shit. Try to play it on hard. Try to play it on expert. Try, all right? Because there's things that you don't even, you can't even capture it on some of the recordings. It's just like how nuts he is, how noodly it is, but it doesn't sound out of place. It's just, it fits the mania of Replacement songs, especially early Replacements, man. Early Replacements, Sorry Ma, it's chaos. It's manic, man. That he is. He's practically Jimi Hendrix licking the damn thing. Okay, like it's perfect. There's no room for that on these Tim songs. There's just not. There's a B-side. You can listen to it anywhere. I don't know where. It's on Spotify on the expanded edition. Nowhere Is My Home. Go listen to Nowhere Is My Home. There is a Bob Stinson guitar solo in there. And I'm just, my mind, it boggles my mind. I can't wrap around how Nowhere Is My Home was left off the record as a B-side, especially with that face-melting, the emotional solo. And how Lay It Down Clown and Dose of Thunder got to stay on, because hooey, man, I love this record, but it's got two, I think, of the biggest stinkers the Replacements ever wrote on it, which is a bummer. They haven't spaced out perfectly, which tells me that, yeah, they knew they sucked, because they're spaced out perfectly on the record to where it doesn't completely blow your immersion, but when those two songs play, your immersion is gone. If Nowhere Is My Home replaced one of those, dear God, in a perfect world. So that is what makes this record so different. A lot of the things Bob recorded were re-recorded later in these recording sessions by Paul, because the issue is Bob Stinson was a heavy alcoholic, a heavy drug user. He's not showing up to recordings. He's not showing up to practices. When he is showing up to record, he can't. He's too faded. He's too shit-faced to record a record because he doesn't care. Because he doesn't care about these songs. I wonder if Bob Stinson would have taken the time to, if he would have allowed himself maybe to, if he trusted Paul in his songwriting and just allowed him, opened himself up to the experience and followed him to this place. It's interesting to think about what could have been and how different this could have sounded had Bob been more included. But I think for OG fans and Replacements diehards of that time, this is just so different. I'm sure to them there's an emptiness to it because it's the vacancy of Bob's sound, which I can understand. But if you're a first-time fan, you're new to this stuff, you listen to this record and you're like, I love this. You know? It's very accessible, a lot more accessible than some of their earlier stuff. Yeah, I mean, without further ado, I am gonna dive into this bad boy. I'm gonna just talk about the songs, talk about my favorite moments, about all the background you need. Paul's super into bluesy, kind of like, you know, we're talking like, you know, old like Woody Guthrie, like we're talking old country type stuff on this. You start this record, we open it up with Hold My Life, and it sets the tone so perfectly. It's a banger, and it's to say, hey, hello, this is a record of bangers, except for the other two that I mentioned previously. It's got the first 10 seconds of this record, it's just it just feels it's me coded to say something I hate, but that's what came to my mind just now. You know, just sustained power chords, and then you got Paul Westerberg going, ooh, it's just like something about Paul Westerberg is he is he holds nothing back. He is a honest performer, and especially an honest singer. He lets every voice crack, every flat note, he leaves it in there, but he puts it all on the table for you, and that's what makes it amazing. So then the first 10 seconds, and he gives you that, oh, well, and you're like, you're in. Immediately, the whole band, it puts you there. I mentioned the maybe hollowness that OG fans were feeling when they listened to this. I don't know how you could feel a hollowness though, especially right off the bat on this song, man. It's full, it's loud, it's passionate, man. That's something that the Replacements do so well, because they don't care about anything ever. They didn't ever. I wonder if they care now in the age that they are about anything. They care about their music above all else. And that passion translates so well to Tim. Just the catchy hook immediately. You are along for the ride, and move you into I'll Buy. A lot of the Replacement stuff is concerning with women a lot of the time. Paul Westerberg is just kind of girl crazy. You can blame him. Being a young man in a punk rock band. I'll Buy rips, just talking about buying shit. Kiss Me on the Bus. Beautiful. Kiss me on the butt. Excuse me. To quote No Dogs in Space on the Last Podcast Network, go check that out. Go listen to them if you want to learn about the Replacements. They did a 5-parter on these guys. It's a husband and wife duo. Big old giant music nerds. Tell you tons of awesome stuff about these guys. It's a fascinating story. We get into the Dose of Thunder after that. Waitress in the Sky. Paul Westerberg's sister was a flight attendant, and Waitress in the Sky is basically it's from the point of view of some of the atrocious people she had to deal with being a flight attendant, especially back in those days, of just being treated like shit, being treated like a waitress in the sky, which a waitress shouldn't be treated like shit in the first place. So why a waitress in the sky means anything, I don't know. But, it's very much, this is a piece of shit person when you listen to that song. It's a point of view. It's a point of view thing. After Waitress in the Sky, you end side 1 with the aforementioned Swingin' Party. Baby. What a song. I think that's the softie in me. You could listen to it and you could be like, this is dumb as shit. Sure. But it's that bass line. Boom, 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 boom. It's just this. The Replacements are very known as a signature sound for them is the downstep, doing a boom, 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 boom. They do that in so many of their songs, and I eat it up. I'm a sucker for it, especially for a finale. Throw in a good boom, 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 boom. I love it. So, Swingin' Party kicks absolute booty. It's so sensitive. It's so weird, because what does it mean? Can you help me with this feather? I need help with this feather. I don't know what that means. And me and my partner at the time said the exact same thing when we're making pasta and this song plays. And I'm like, I love this. What is this? I need help here with this feather. And who knows, man? Don't listen to the lyrics. That's my advice on all music. Don't listen to the lyrics. Even though the lyrics have amazing things. Without that song, I don't know if I would have fallen in love with them ever the way that I did. Because The Replacements is my number one band. I've got a top 5. They're number 1 because they're just timeless to me. They're the most just non-contemporary, just of all the replacements I feel like I could listen to. I will listen to them and love them the same way when I'm 70 as much as I did when I heard them at 25. It's going to be the exact same. So then we go into side 2. Oh, it's raining. Kicks off side 2 with Bastards of Young. Oh, if you know, you know. If you know, I'd pull up anybody off the street and I'd play in the first 10 seconds of Bastards of Young, and does this rip, check yes or no, and every single person would say yes. I believe it was season 2. Is season 2 of The Bear. This song plays in like episode 1 or 2, and which I was thrilled to hear. I was like, holy shit, that's the Replacements. Like, whoa. It's just a perfect song too. It's an anthem. This is the anthem song. It's loud. It's fucking proud. It's the most we don't give a fuck energy that you could possibly get with these guys. Perfect. Lay It Down Clown's next. We don't talk about Lay It Down Clown. Left of the fucking dial. Woo-wee. After many years of digging these guys, of listening to all their material, really being a fan of all of it, I can pretty safely say Left of the Dial is my favorite song that they have ever recorded, they ever made. There is a vibe to this track. The Replacements don't care. They don't give a fuck. They're the bad boys. They just do whatever they want. That's the image. That's the persona. Swingin' Party shows it already. And then Left of the Dial, at hearts, they're just hopeless romantics. Especially Paul Westerberg. Hopeless romantic. So much of his songs are dedicated to loves and lost loves. This one's written about a girl he knew from another band. I can't tell you it. Sorry, I'm not a historian. But he would, when they're touring, they're traveling, they're on their bus, their van, more like, and he would scan the radio stations for one of her songs. He heard an interview with her on one of these nights, and that's where he got the name of the song from. And I think it's the very last line he says in the song is, "I'll try to find you, left of the dial." And it gives me chills just saying out loud without anything behind. I'm just a dude. You feel like you know Paul Westerberg in this song, especially in that moment. A life that, a life that had the tendency to be so dark, and in that he's trying to find love, and he's trying to find that girl left of the dial. It ends in a just spectacular, just gravitas. It's got the downstep. It's got Tommy bassing like no fucking other. You want a masterclass in playing bass like a fucking killer? Listen to the Replacements. Take notes from Tommy Stinson. Holy shit. Every song on this record, the bass rips. Just listen to the bass. Follow the bass, man. Follow it, and it will take you to some dope places. God, I love that song. I want to pause this and listen to it right now, just talking about it. So after Left of the Dial, with just that outstanding finale, you got Little Mascara, which is, I think, I hold Al By and Little Mascara in a brother-sister kind of relationship. It's same kind of vibe. It's just fun ass songs, fun, well written, very catchy songs. And all of this wraps up with the final track, Here Comes a Regular. There was a history to this song. And if I'm remembering right, Paul recorded this by himself in a dark room in one take. He wanted a dark room because, and this is true for the entire Replacements career, when he wrote great acoustic tracks from the jump. This dude was he's still with us, a natural songwriter, and knows how to convey emotion in just wonderful ways. And so he's always been able to do this. Go back to Sorry Ma, you need the expanded edition once again, and listen to the name's escaping me right now because I'm thinking about Here Comes a Regular. And go listen to If Only You Were Lonely. And it's just a perfect kind of A to B of where this dude always wrote this way, but he was secretive about it. He was embarrassed. It was like, yeah, it was like the guys thing. It was like he didn't want to like show he was like a softie in front of the guys. So all the other band members didn't know he wrote songs like this until the Tim showed up, and through Peter Jesperson's insistence, who was their manager, the first Replacements band, the Replacements did not exist without Peter Jesperson. I think he insisted Paul did this, and it was the right record, it was the right time, and holy shit, you're having a good time with this record, and then you hit this last track, and it kind of punches you in your gut, and you're kind of leaves you after that. It's like a guy walks up to you, and you have a fantastic conversation with him, and then out of nowhere, he just he just punches you in the fucking face, and then walks away, and you're like, wait, what just happened? Like, why am I bleeding? Like, I'm so hurt. And that's what Here Comes Regular is. The Replacements did not talk about serious things in their regular lives, in their professional lives, in their bandmate relationship. They didn't talk about this shit. And the song is about, it's called Here Comes a Regular because it's about being a regular at your local bar. And it's in reference to a real bar that Paul frequented, was a regular at, the hometown bar. Am I the only one here today? It's a certain futileness in this song that I feel, even though I feel very privileged to say this is something I haven't had to cope with in my life. I've never had to exactly deal with alcoholism in any form, especially my own. But this is of a time and of a place, the Midwest, where I don't want to generalize people and I don't want to generalize areas, but especially, I guess at this time, people, it was a normal thing to do was to drown your sorrows in the bottle. You don't talk about our problems, we just drink them. We drink them away. And I think that's the world that the Replacements grew up in. It's the people the Replacements became. And I can't think of any song until All Shook Down that deals with this level of, I have a problem. Like, am I fucked up? Am I okay? And you're just left to wonder that with Paul. I'll tell you, spoiler alert, this story has a pretty happy ending. I mean, most of the Replacements got sober, 3 of the 4. Bob, very sadly and tragically, passed away in 2003, I think. That's how the book opens. If you read Bob Mears' book, Trouble Boys, it opens with the band reuniting for the first time in a very long time that they'd ever talked or seen each other at Bob's service. So these are demons that most of the Replacements beat that Bob couldn't get away from. But that's not to say this is a hopeless story or a hopeless record. There is so much life on this wax. There is just, these grooves tell stories, very human stories of honest American ass boys, man. And I just think that's something that I'll always respect, something I'll always engage with. When I'm older, I hope to, when I'm a grandpa, I want to look back and listen to these songs and I want to feel young again. And I am pretty positive that I will. And that's the timeless effect that this group has on music. And with that being said, go listen to it. If you're not familiar with Tim by The Replacements, go give it a listen on your YouTubes or your Spotifys or your Apples or whatever. And hope it rocks your world as much as it did mine and still does. One final little tidbit, I guess. Tim is the name because they just wanted a funny name, and that's what a lot of the names of Replacements records come down to. A lot of their a lot of this stuff is I'm not taking anything seriously, and I'm just joking around. The mix received a lot of shit, I guess, when this came out. They said it's drenched in reverb and you can't hear anything, and Tommy Iridelli's hearing was going out, you know, so like he didn't know how to mix this right, and I don't hear that. I'm also not an expert in those things. Maybe when you're an expert in those things, you listen to this and you're like, this fucking sucks. They did release the Let It Bleed edition, which was a possible song title for this, Let It Bleed, with the former record of theirs being Let It Be, in order to just make fun of the Beatles and Peter Jesperson's love of the Beatles, to just give him shit, really. The Let It Bleed, as it's remixed, it's supposed to fix a lot of the issues with the original recording. I've listened to them both. I see nothing wrong with the original recording of Tim, and maybe that's just my initial loving of it that is biased. I don't think you're gonna get anything out of Let It Bleed that doesn't exist in the original recording, but to each their own. Hey, I've been talking for a whole half hour and I barely stuttered. I did a little bit, but it's my first time doing anything like this. I'm like talking to myself. It's weird. But if you made it this long, thanks. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to me yap and jab and ramble. That's something that means so much to me. Where I get nervous when I'm in front of a camera to talk about it, but then it just comes out. I love this band. I love this record. I love a lot of records. I hope so much that you will listen to this and you will love it, and you'll tell your friends and you'll tell your parents. I don't know. Spread the love, spread the joy, spread the music. If you have an opinion about this record, or if you have an opinion about my horrible video skills, don't tell me. Ha! This is talk about records, not shit about me. Do you like Tim? Do you hate Tim? Let me know. Let's have a good conversation. And I hope to maybe see you next time in my next video when I talk about, who knows, it's a surprise. Hey, good night, YouTube folks. Good night, and let it bleed, baby.